Before we get into a very compelling naval news segment today, I have to tell you this video is brought to you by NordVPN. Hi friends, it's Aaron from Subbrief. I want to tell you about NordVPN. The internet can be a scary place. Some sites try to collect your IP address and create a profile associated with the person using that address. Your internet service provider can work against you as well. They have all of your browsing history and can make it available to the authorities. And they know additional information about you, like your real name, your physical address, and even your credit card information can all be made available upon request. The best way I found to protect myself from data collection is to use NordVPN. So what is a VPN? VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. NordVPN creates a secure, encrypted, direct connection to your device before you go onto the internet. NordVPN has a no logs policy of your internet activity so you can surf without a trace. NordVPN has its own secure DNS servers that adds another layer of protection for you. NordVPN also uses Onion network technology, coupled with proxy extensions for your Chrome and Firefox browsers. Together, these layers of protection help shield your browsing activity. You can get all this protection at a huge 73% discount and 4 months free for a 2-year plan when you use my code SUBBRIEF in the checkout. So go to NordVPN link in the description or in the comments section. It's pinned right at the top of this video, and use my code SUBBRIEF at checkout to get a huge 73% discount and 4 months free on a 2-year NordVPN plan. Stay secure with NordVPN. So the U.S. Navy released some interesting information about the USS Portland testing a high-energy laser weapon system in the Gulf of Aden. That's that small body of water south of Yemen near the Horn of Africa. So Dateline 15 December 2021 from Bahrain reports amphibious transport dockship USS Portland LPD-27 conducted a high-energy laser system demonstration on December 14th while sailing in the Gulf of Aden. It says during the demonstration, the solid-state laser technology maturation laser weapon system demonstrator, or LOSD, Mark II Mod 0 aboard Portland successfully engaged a static surface target. Portland previously tested the LOSD in May 2020 when it successfully disabled a small unmanned aerial system while operating in the Pacific Ocean. So this weapon can be used against small surface ships and aerial vehicles. And that's going to be critical in the second half of this when we talk about drones. This can be used against drones as well. The Office of Naval Research selected Portland to be the host of the laser weapons technology in 2018. The LOSD is considered next generation follow-on to the LAWS that afloat forward staging base on USS Ponce, tested for 3 years while operating in the Middle East there. And here we have some awesome photos of the actual turret here. Here's a turret on the bow of the USS Portland, facing downwards there. You can see the big lens on the front there. That's crazy, really big. And here's a nice profile view of it. You can see that's the turret right there on the bow. Over here, this is the target that they're going to shoot. This little floating, buoy-like device. They're going to release that, get a couple 100 yards away from it, and shoot it with this laser. And here you can see the bridge crew wearing their safety glasses. Here it looks like we have a petty officer who is taking some deck logs of the operation. I don't see an insignia on this guy. He could be a contractor because this is a test. Here we have a chief petty officer with a radio nearby, so he might be coordinating something. Anyway, very interesting insight into what's going on the bridge during this type of test. And here we have a great shot. This looks like this could be like some kind of infrared image or some other spectrum taken from the Portland as it's looking at the target there. And there is the laser. Pretty cool. So clearly it works. It hit the target. There's no damage assessment made public, so we don't know how well it worked. But I do have a treat for you. I have the actual video of the test. Would you like to see it? Yeah, let's take a look at this. All right, here we go. Here's the video released by U.S. Pacific Public Affairs. This is public domain, and there she is. It's a little 4-second burst. It doesn't even show you the full duration of the engagement. I assume it's longer than 4 seconds. In this part, I slowed it down for you a little bit so you could have a little more time to look at this. But look at how focused that beam is. And clearly very high energy, high intensity. And like I said, they struck the target. So very good stuff. Very good. I like how it turns blue a little bit there at the end. You know, I think that's just the camera is getting shut out. The shutter is. Anyway, very cool stuff. So this type of technology is very important for future naval warfare because we're seeing the rise of swarm fleets. Iran is building a swarm navy to harass shipping in the Straits of Hormuz. And they're building hundreds of ships a year. And they're manning them with just 1 or 2 anti-ship missiles, which is enough to do the job. And then they intend on swarming dozens of those manned ships, and unmanned too, but manned as well, around, ships going through the Straits of Hormuz. So we're going to need systems like this that don't have a limited magazine capacity. As long as you feed this weapon energy, it's going to be able to fire. It can fire rapidly. It can take on multiple targets. So that's what we're going to need to be able to defend in future naval combats. And the second thing is drones. Drones are going to be used in swarms as well. And we're already seeing this. So we're going to go into our second story where we talk about an event that happened a couple of years ago in 2019, initially reported by Mr. Tyler Rogaway. We have a follow-up for that story here. This one right here. Harassment of U.S. Navy destroyers by mysterious drone swarms off California went on for weeks. We thought this was just like, a 3-day event. It turned out to be like a 14-day event because of the Freedom of Information Act submitted by the WarZone. Credit to Adam Cohey and Mark Sakoti, hope I'm saying his name right, got the actual deck logs, including some PowerPoint slides of the entire event that went on for the last 2 weeks of July in 2019. Let's read what they say from the piece. Earlier this year, the WarZone exclusively reported a series of 2019 incidents that involved unidentified drones stalking U.S. Navy vessels over several nights in the waters of Southern California. Our initial reports also covered the Navy's investigation into the incidents, which appeared to struggle to identify either the aircraft or the operators. And that's really key, is these are not American drones. They're very close, within 120 miles of San Diego, off the shore there. We don't know who's operating these. How did they get there? Like, is there a vessel that has gone undetected in a Navy exercise area, which is highly unlikely that that's the case, operating these drones? Or are these drones extremely long-range drones being operated by a nation or a government, farther away? The closest other nation that could possibly operate these drones would be Mexico, and that's unlikely because I don't even think they have that technology. Nations like China, all the way across the Pacific, highly unlikely that they're operating drones off the coast of California, remoting them from China just to harass the fleet. And these are not the large, Global Hawk drones. We'll show you some pictures of them. They're relatively small drones, which would imply limited range, but maybe not. We're going to have to get a little bit of speculation if we're going to try and estimate their range based on their size. Okay, back to the piece. Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Mike Gilday later clarified that the aircraft were never identified, and there has been similar incidents across service branches and allied militaries. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not just happening off the coast of Southern California. This is happening around the world. But we have a lot of really good information about this specific incident. Newly released documents obtained via the Freedom of Information Act show the full scope of these drones. Incursion was greater than initially appeared. They persisted well after the Navy's investigation was launched. Deck logs indicate the drone sightings continued throughout the month of July of 2019, including events where drone countermeasure teams were called into action. One notable event involved at least 3 ships observing multiple drones, uncharacteristically for unclassified deck logs. The details of this event are almost entirely redacted. That's true, but we got a little bit of information from the deck logs. First, let's take a look at the PowerPoint slide that they managed to get released, where it shows the path of the ship. This is the path of one of the 3 destroyers. This is the USS Paul Hamilton. Again, July 2019 is in blue. So they're heading south by east a little bit here. And you can see that they've numbered the encounters. So 1 corresponds to the red 1, the blue 2 corresponds to the red 2. Multiple drones coming in, being spotted at different locations aft of the ship. The drones are coming up from behind them when they're detected. At time 6, they make a sharp right-hand turn towards the west, and the drones follow them. The drones get very close at time 6, 7, and 8, and then back off a little bit. They cross over the top of the path of the destroyer here. They have a star at time 9, and because of the redacted statements, it's not clear what this star signifies. But something at time 9 happened that was different than the other times that is being starred. Okay. Well, they continue on their westerly course. The drones appear to follow them. And this is important because this is not a pre-programmed drone. This drone is observing this destroyer and reacting to its course change in real time. So there are some sensors on this drone, doing something, definitely, observing the destroyer at the very least, if not recording it. And then at time 16, at the very end of the encounter, the drone crosses over top again and then crosses the bow of the ship. And in naval actions, the crossing the bow of the ship is done to get your attention. A lot of times warships may shoot a round across the bow of a vessel that it can't communicate with to get it to stop. So this could be an indication of, hey, I'm just trying to get your attention if you hadn't seen me already, but they had been tracking him for quite a while there. So let's get into what the response was. What did the sailors do when they saw this happening? So the map depicts the Paul Hamilton. I already talked about that. I encourage you, so I don't have to read this whole thing to you, go to the WarZone and read this for yourself. The first thing that the Navy did is they deployed Snoopy teams. And I love the name. So the Snoopy team is a ship nautical or otherwise photographic interpretation and exploitation teams. Snoopy. So they go out like with this little sailor here with high, 4K video cameras, and they record these events to gather information as to just what's going on. What are these drones? Are they a known model that's made in a specific country so we can get a point of origin? Who's operating them? That's what the Snoopy teams are trying to collect data for. According to the deck logs, the proximity of the drones that led to the ship exercised enhanced emission controls, or MCON protocols, designed to minimize their electronic profile. And an extensive analysis done by Mr. Tyler Rogaway, the WarZone editor, explains that drones could play a useful role in provoking reactions from an adversary by means to capture highly prized electronic intelligence. So it is possible, hell, it's likely, that these drones were intended for us to turn on our jammers, our ECM countermeasures, electronic countermeasures, just to see, one, what they are, what frequencies and power levels do they operate at, so that they can take that information, whoever are operating these drones, and develop systems that can defeat our countermeasure systems. Do you see how that works? So perhaps they're trying to provoke something like that, but the Navy was extremely smart, followed its own guidelines, and said, we're shutting everything down. So they shut down all the emissions. They went into strict MCON during this event. So here we have some bits from the log. This is from USS Russell. This is another destroyer, okay? Remember, there's at least 3 destroyers in this exercise, but the USS Russell reports drone spotted bearing 285 true at, it looks like 0145 in the morning. So that's off to the west, right? So here they have, let's read what this says. The very noteworthy that several days later on the 20th, USS Russell conducted an initial counter UAS exercise. Okay, so this is something that we found through the Freedom of Information Act. They were conducting anti-drone, essentially. UAS refers to a drone-like device exercise by shooting their 5-inch gun at it just to see, how well that would perform. And as expected, it did not perform very well. It took multiple shots to try and hit, because the 5-inch guns are not designed to shoot down slow, small targets, aerial targets. So the 5-inch gun does not perform well in this. All right, let's get back to the observations. Again, you can go read all these deck logs on the WarZone. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and read the deck logs to you. But here we have 11:30 in the morning. We have a secure counter UAS exercise. 1 round was expended from the 5-inch at full charge. Okay, they're just talking more about the exercise there. So yeah, the 5-inch gun may not be the answer to the drone swarm problem. Again, that's why we need the LODs that we're currently in development on. We need to get those on board these ships pronto, just to help defend against swarms, whether it's coming from Iran swarm fleets or these drones. We need to have a defense. Okay, 3 days later, let's get back to the actual drone encounter. These are the unknown drones now. Exercise is over. 3 days later, the drone is spotted by a Snoopy team at an elevation of 400 feet. Note that the naval parlance for calling away refers to sailors manning their post. So here they have away, the Snoopy team. UAS spotted at 340 true, so northwest, at about 400 feet elevation. And that happened at just a few minutes before 9 p.m. And then again, just after 10 p.m., flares are spotted in the position of, they give you the grid coordinates at approximately 7 nautical miles away. This is a little bit confusing because in the deck logs, it is not mentioned whether the flares are associated with the drone sighting or not. Are these flares from another ship that's in the exercise group? Because there's multiple of them. We don't know. This may not be related to the UAS. But again, just before 11 o'clock, they say Ghostbusters away, commence counter UAS exercise, completed counter UAS exercise 8 minutes later. So this refers to the term Ghostbuster refers to a civilian contractor operating, anti-drone devices is what that term is referred to in the past. There is no official Navy term as far as we know where Ghostbuster is code name for anything specific. But because Ghostbuster is used for anti-drone defense, by civilian contractors, it's probable that this deck entry refers to that as well. So we're going to assume that Ghostbuster means a portable device, man-held device that can defeat or disrupt drone communications. It's perhaps they were trying to, disable one of these, maybe go out and retrieve it. And that would be the best intelligence that they could gather if we can actually get our hands on one of these and see just what's going on. All right. These anti-drone countermeasures are increasingly being used by security forces around the world. They write from the piece, but let's get back to the Snoopy teams on July 30th. Remember, this is over a week later, talking about activating Ghostbusters against another drone appearance. Going back to the deck logs here, we have a 0119 call for away Ghostbusters. So it looks like there could be another drone sighting there. Again, a lot of these logs are redacted like this, so we are only getting part of the story. We don't know all the details of what happened but something happened again on July 30th. So 3 a.m. on July 30th, the pattern of redaction ends. And in the same time frame, at least 2 other ships nearby noted drone or UAV activity. As previously reported, the USS Kidd, another Arleigh Burke class destroyer involved in these incidents, deployed its own Snoopy team for UAVs at 2:16 a.m. that day. Another log notes that Snoopy team was recalled at 3:27, so they were out for just over an hour going after these drones. So this is from the USS Paul Hamilton. At 03:30, multiple drones spotted off the starboard bow. Again, Snoopy team away. Keep in mind, look at the time frame that these drones are coming. They do have a couple sightings during the day, 10, 11 a.m., but the majority of them appear to be late in the evening or very early morning. So, 10, 11 o'clock and 1 and 3 in the morning, keeping the crew, out of the racks, essentially. They work all day. They're doing naval exercises. And then at 1 a.m., the Snoopy team, anyway, needs to get up and go respond to this threat, multiple times. So they're wearing the crew down. That could be another purpose of these drones, is to just, test the crew or exhaust the crew. All right, this is from USS Russell at 10:34 in the morning. They man their small craft action team because it's daylight now. This is a daylight one where they spot a drone. So they away the Snoopy team on their reinforced hull inflatable boats, the ribs. Those are designed to provide 360 security around the destroyers for anti-terrorism measures, but it can also be used for anti-drone as well. Well, they put the Snoopy recording team on that little boat and they send it out there with some Ghostbuster devices to go and try and record the drone and disable it. But this action is unsuccessful. The drone apparently sees what's going on, so it's got some situational awareness and gets away, so it's not disabled or disrupted. So the Navy, it appears right now, we don't have a defense for these drones because they're so small and slow, and our big naval guns like the 5-inch gun can't hit it, and it's not coming close enough for the Sea Whiz to take a whack at it apparently. And so we're trying these, alternative methods of sending out small boats and Ghostbusters just to try and get this. What will solve that gap, what will bridge that gap is that laser program we're talking about early on. You can't get that fast enough. And I do want to send a big shout out to filmmaker Jeremy Corbell, because he got actual video of this event that I cannot play for you here on YouTube. You have to go to Jeremy Corbell's either Twitter page, or he has his own website where you'll see these triangle shape, drones flying around in the sky anyway. You don't see the destroyers flying around, and it's taken with like an infrared camera lens, like you see here, or a night vision lens of some sort. And so, it's hard to judge distance and size with these little stills, but these don't appear to be very large drones, or if they are very large, they're very far away, right? Which would suggest that they're not global. They're not transiting the world to be off the coast of California. So what is happening off the coast of California and around the world, other places as well, where these drones are being spotted and behaving like this? And one thing that we must consider is that perhaps this is not a terrestrial drone. We're seeing technology that, the U.S. Navy doesn't have or claims to not have. And, if another country has this technology to be able to bring a drone that's relatively small, halfway or all the way across the Pacific, well, then we're at a huge disadvantage for whoever that is. Maybe the best option for us is to speculate that this is not terrestrial. Anyway, I'll leave that for you guys to debate in the comments. Who do you think is operating these drones? What is their purpose? Are they just harassing our Navy? Are they literally trying to collect information on us? Or are they just observing us? Is it just, someone else curiously wondering what humans are doing on planet Earth? I don't know. Anyway, I want to say thank you again to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the comments. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hey, it's Aaron from Subbrief. I hope you liked the video. Make sure you click the like button and subscribe to the YouTube page if you haven't already. Also, check out our playlist. We have Naval News playlist. We have Subbrief lecture playlists, which are in-depth analysis into different classes of submarines. And yes, even warships now. We're expanding into warships because we've covered so many of the submarines. I also have a second channel. If you're looking for the gameplay video that used to be a big part of the Subbrief YouTube channel, head on over to OnlySubs. That's right. OnlySubs, a little tongue-in-cheek YouTube channel that I've created to put all the gameplay content that you guys love. This is where we just sit back, have fun, do some live stream video games for a couple hours, a few times a week, and we put the VODs over here on OnlySubs on the YouTube channel. All right, click like and subscribe over here and have a good time. Leave a comment down below and I'll be sure and read it, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching my video, everybody. Bye.